clearly the most memorable moment from last night's service for Charlie Kirk.
I forgive him.
This, as of course, there was another moment that a lot of people are talking about right now regarding Tucker Carlson, who took the opportunity, according to a lot of people, to be a little bit more snide when it comes to raising some of the more kind of controversial assertions here regarding our, quote, greatest ally, as questions now are ablaze about Tucker Carlson's speech, his behavior, and I think there's a lot to talk about, particularly with what happened last night, but with the context of what in the world's happening with the right, that looks like that they are at a big intersection at this moment, at this particular time. Some would say a turning point, as there's a lot of hippy-dippy people saying yesterday was a very significant, energetic day, and I would agree, especially when it comes to the discourse, especially when it comes to the conversations that are being had right now, that I think are some of the most important conversations that we could have. And if you agree, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time and attention that, of course, you give to us here. Now, yesterday, a lot of people had mixed feelings about this stadium type of event. Overall, I thought it was incredible to see so many people talk about Christ, to talk about religion, to talk about personal responsibility and the ethos that Charlie Kirk represented in such a huge, major fashion. I mean, to have this stadium filled up, to have millions of people watching online, to have an overflow secondary stadium highlights, I think, the significance of this moment that some people are trying to undermine here, as this moment even brought together arch nemesis of recent political controversy, as Elon Musk and Donald Trump actually sat down together, as there's previous tweets from Charlie Kirk talking about how he really would have hoped that the two would come back together after having a major blow up surrounding the Epstein list and EV credits. Now, still, we are at a very divisive time, but yesterday, a lot of people said, hey, this is the time where we could show the left just how united we are, just how organized we are. And I think it was Milo or someone else that was tweeting, if you're watching this and you're from the left, you are screwed, showing this huge resurgence of people. And of course, there's a lot of other people trying to undermine what happened here, like Destiny saying a lot of really awful things, a lot of other people responding, being like, your commentary really isn't that on the nose here, as the right coming together, getting its ish together, saying, hey, no longer will we be divided amongst petty lines. We're going to focus on being principled, being virtuous, being respectful, and getting our political causes and messages out there in new forms and ways that will defeat your ideas and Lucifer and the devil and the Antichrist, is something that really was a big moment. And now enters Tucker Carlson, who had something very, some would say, cheeky to say during his presentation, that people of the right, especially the Jewish people on the right, and other people, are really triggered and angry about this, as Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, and many others are perturbed at this particular comment that Tucker Carlson made during his speech here. Here's the comment.
Ultimately, he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking.
Yep, powerful people. That's the time of history. Don't like people exposing them and telling them and telling everyone else their dirty little secrets.
You've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do?
Eating hummus, that right there. A lot of people are like, wait, is he noticing the hummus? What? That's the comment that's triggering a lot of people right there. The hummus.
About this guy telling the truth about us. We
Say, hummus.
must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, Tucker, during his whole speech, was talking about religion, talking about Christ, talking about speaking out, being a good religious Christ-following person. But people are pissed. And the outcry here is very, very interesting. We're going to play the people's response to this. Some people who are triggered by this, some people who are angry about this. But before we do, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. We got a great shop. We got a lot of great products. Our first product was ashwagandha. I really like ashwagandha. It's not for everyone. Some people shouldn't take it. I'll tell you some people that shouldn't be taking it. But in clinical trials, according to Jay McHall, ashwagandha has been shown to reduce stress levels, decrease cortisol, stress level hormones that's responsible for your gut being all fat and poofy and having a fupa. 14.7% increase in testosterone. But listen, I like this stuff. I take it. The temporary relief of anxiety helped me. And that's what a lot of people talk about, specifically when it comes to balancing your hormones. A lot of people's hormones are really messed up. People talk about this being a fertility booster. Lots of people have problems with their fertility. And a lot of people have been saying take it for 90 days. Some people say take it for 30 days. I'm a little bit more cautious. I'm just like 30 days. And then I do notice a big impact, specifically with my workouts, specifically with how I feel, specifically with huge, tremendous amounts of stress that I'm dealing with. But is it right for you to take as an individual? I don't know. You got to do your own homework and research, bro. I like this stuff because I feel like it gave me the edge. This was the first kind of like supplement that I personally decided to take. Before that, I never was taking any supplements. This was many years ago. And I'm like, I'm traveling, messing up my circadian rhythm. I'm eating all this junk food. I'm starting to get a belly. I got the bigger, I was like, I got 2 chins now? What the hell's going on? I had 3 then. I think 4 at one point. 2. Now I have 2. Listen. And everything is a health journey. Some people shouldn't take it if you have rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, lupus, if you're pregnant, if you have any kind of autoimmune, if you have any liver disease, if you have any thyroid disease, then consult your doctor before taking ashwagandha. And do your own homework, do your own research. I just like this stuff because it's really powerful and it really helped me. Specifically when I had like 3 chins, 4 chins. And I'm like, okay, now I got to take care of my health, as I did a lot of extensive damage traveling the world to it. And I felt like it really helped me out, especially when I was dealing with anxiety. So I no longer deal with it. I think in part because of ashwagandha. The other part was sleeping, not dealing with incredible amounts of stress, not traveling all the time, eating right, exercising. And the proper sleep, I mean, that's everything. And when I take ashwagandha, I think it helps me get proper sleep. It might help you. Do your own homework and research before putting anything in your own body. wearechange.shop. Let's get back to this kind of comment here by Tucker Carlson. As George Galloway says, if the cap fits, wear it. Another person wrote, in plain language, Tucker Carlson is saying that the Jews killed Christ 2,000 years ago for telling the truth, and they killed Charlie Kirk last week for the same reason. Did he actually say that? I think you're extrapolating a little bit there. Times of Israel. Tucker Carlson accused of insinuating. He insinuated. We know what was in his head. We know it. It's Qatar. He's super mega rich, but some reason he's taking Qatari money on the side, guys. All right? I don't know if you got the memo. Right? Huge sums of money. Fox News still paying him out. Millions and millions of dollars. But still, the guy who loves nature and fishing and being isolated in the woods, still, he risked it all for that dirty Qatari money. Come on now. We're being ridiculous. Here it is. Israel killed Charlie Kirk after recounting Jesus' death at a funeral. Now, of course, a lot of people are like, whoa, no way he actually said that. Well, if we're talking about religion, and a lot of people were talking about religion that day, I think it's fair to talk about this stuff. Owen Schroyer says, why is my entire timeline a never-ending flow of attacks on Tucker Carlson? And again, it seems like the memo is given out. Attack Tucker. The Qatari money ruse is not working. Attack him. The Dinesh D'Souza. The Jews killed Christ. How dare he say that? And then people are like, he's saying the Jews assassinated. I'm like, no, he's not. He never made that assertion. Other people are making that assertion. He's not making that assertion. Laura Loomer. Why does the GOP refuse to condemn Tucker Carlson using Charlie Kirk's memorial to suggest Jews killed Charlie? I'm like, listen, it's like at a certain point, right? At a certain point, you're kind of like wondering, like, Tucker didn't say that, but well, you guys acting like you are, that's a little sus. All right? You're acting a little bit too defensive here. All right? It's like the spouse is like, I never cheated on you. I never cheated. I never cheated at all. You're cheating. Really? Really there? LaQuisha, really? Really? You didn't do anything? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, and the responses are pretty anti-Semitic. Innuendo! I don't think so. I think you guys are making it more of a big issue than it actually is. Now, Tucker is known for being snarky, is known for being a little controversial, is known for, pushing it to the limit. According to conversations he had with Charlie Kirk was telling him, push it to the limit. Dave Smith also says similar things when it comes to this particular issue. And again, Matthew Schultz here. Once again, Tucker Carlson finds a way to insinuate. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Another person. He's a modern-day German from the 1930s. What a disgusting and loathsome human being to use Charlie Kirk's funeral to launch an unhinged anti-Semitic conspiracy theory tirade. Is unconscionable. Defilement of Charlie's memory and everything he stood for. I don't think so. Again, I think the reaction here is just absolutely crazy. Mark Levin, I have been publicly and openly confronting all this hatred. And again, Richard Goldberg, Tucker's unhealthy obsession with Jews. And I'm like, okay, like, we get it. I don't know if there's a memo sent out. You guys don't like that Tucker Carlson brought up this kind of religious fact here. Congresswoman MTG has something to say about this, saying Tucker Carlson just gave the best speech that was centered on what being a Christian is. It's about Jesus, and it starts with faith and repentance, and it changes us, which leads us to God. Thank you, Tucker. I like Tucker's speech because, again, it was a little... I like Tucker. All right, I'm biased here. I am very biased here, as people are saying this is exactly what Charlie Kirk stood for as well. And they're playing older kind of clips of him dealing with Satanists. Some people say he dealt with devil worshippers in the fullest extent here. Laura Loomer again. Saying, watch, Tucker Carlson suggests Israeli involvement. He didn't suggest that. I think that's, he didn't say that, right? He talked about a religious story. Now, again, was it cheeky? Did he know it was going to be controversial? Probably. He probably wanted these people to freak out, and they are freaking out here. But it's important to note the kind of discernment here. Laura Limmer, yes, he did. Even the Muslim terrorist-loving publications are celebrating what he said. That's because you guys are having an initial reaction here. The first response here, Tucker never suggested anything of the sort. He merely said that Christ was murdered in hopes of shutting down his message. And the same thing happened to Charlie. Stop being so paranoid. Yeah, that's the right thing. Quote, Tucker will say, a bunch of guys eating hummus is about killing Jesus. That will shut him up, not Charlie. He's finishing his story about Jesus. I will admit I have no rewind because I thought he was talking about Charlie. Poorly worded. I can see how it sounds that way. Again, up to your own interpretations, but I think the more of a defensive posture, the more of a weird kind of response to all of this, when in reality, like, okay, whatever, he said his comments about this. Now, in absence was Candace Owens. Now, we are hearing reports that Erica Kirk will be addressing some of the larger conspiracies surrounding Charlie Kirk allegedly today. I'm seeing that a lot of people are saying that's not true. We saw Milo post about it, then delete it. Some people are saying that some of the controversies won't be addressed by her. I hope they are, personally, because I think the general public deserves transparency with everything, whether the conspiracies are right or not. Now, Tucker Carlson did allude that Charlie Kirk was being tormented before his death with big-time donors that were threatening to pull funding because of his speech at the upcoming TP USA event in Arizona this December, right? And I think it's clear there was a big orchestrated effort. We even made a separate video about this before Charlie Kirk's passing, saying there's a lot of pressure right now trying to cancel Tucker Carlson. And it's clear they're going to use anything. Even if he gives them like a little innuendo, they're like, oh, he said it. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Okay, you guys look ridiculous when you're freaking out here. Now, the Jerusalem Post also released a very interesting article here talking about how there are 6 Jewish American billionaires who, quote, quietly became the backbone of Israel's wartime funding. One of them, according to Megatron, is Larry Ellison, the man who just bought TikTok, and TikTok made some interesting kind of moves recently that I think are very telling here. Now, a lot of other people here, especially Bill Ackman, were also meeting with Charlie Kirk before his passing at the Hamptons, and there was allegedly a lot of controversy. Candace Owens talked about a lot of this controversy. Nick Fuentes backed Bill Ackman here. He released his own statement on this issue here, as Candace Owens, who of course wasn't there, who is a little bit more kind of, she kind of insinuates a little bit more than Tucker Carlson about what potentially is going on here, says, quote, attended Mass, then took my kids to see Light of the World in theaters today, the story of Jesus, came home, made dinner, heard Tucker share the story of Jesus Christ, followed by Erica Kirk, stunning example of what the love of Christianity truly is. Today was perfect. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it is kind of interesting that Erica Kirk decided to follow Candace Owens yesterday. Now, when it comes to a lot of these kind of big-time donors, big-time money, I mean, both of the sides kind of released their statements here. It would be interesting to see what Erica Kirk has to say about this. But Tucker's speech, I don't think it's controversial. I think it's only as controversial as some people make it out to be. I mean, his story, I thought his speech was beautiful. I thought his story was great. Do you have to have a freak out moment? I don't think so. Now, are we going to find out exactly what's going on here? As even Tucker Carlson said, hey, we need to stay focused on finding out what happened here. As now we're hearing that even Donald Trump is saying other people might be involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, which is something we've been saying from the very beginning, saying, hey, this guy probably had accomplices. Hey, these text messages are weird. They kind of hint at either obfuscating other people's involvement here. Hey, where the rifle was found is different from when the authorities kind of told us originally. Hey, there's other people that were running defense for him. And there's a lot of things that we're going to get into in the next video. So in the next video, I want to talk about the latest Trump comments, talking about how Kash Patel is expanding the investigation, which good. I'm happy he's finally doing that. Is it too late though? Or seeing who else was involved here, seeing if there's particular training here. And we are going to be getting into that and a lot more in the future video. Now, I was going to play this video. It's already too late. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. Subscribe, click the notification button if that interests you. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechain.